Hey, what's up guys, OSG here, and with Halloween fast approaching, I think it's only fair to do the 20 best Commodore 64 horror games. Obviously these were the days before we got the true horror games of Resident Evil and Silent Hill and so on, so horror on the C64 takes a lot of imagination. And most games in this list are in for having horror elements like killing ghosts, mummies etc, or having an overall eerie atmosphere. Anyway, here is what I would say are the 20 best Commodore 64 horror games in order of greatness. Nosferatu the Vampyre is in 20th position. While this is obviously a specky port, which a lot of the isometric games were, it works with this game, much in the way Great Escape did, as it adds a feel of bleakness to the game. That aside, this is a great 3D horror adventure game. In 19th place we have Stryker in the Crypts of Trogan. This is a late Codemasters game and one that seems to be overlooked even though it's really good. It's much in the style of Switchblade, so if you like that game you will probably like this. In place is taken by Infernal Runner. This is a late entry to the list after speaking with Zypho, a great retro streamer I watch, and he said that this should be in. I checked it out and it's a great little horror puzzle game that has some really gruesome deaths. Aliens is in 17th position. This is the Activision one and it's a proper atmospheric experience. The graphics aren't the best, but overall the feeling of the game is truly eerie, which was hard to do back then. I know some people will prefer the first person shooter UK version of this game, but for me this is the best. In 16th place is Werewolves of London. This is a super fun, great looking game that I have seen a lot on the Amstrad streams. While I have to admit that it's not as good as that version, it's still a worthwhile play if you like the horror genre. Fifteenth place is taken by Beyond the Forbidden Forest. This game delivers the same love gameplay that was present in the original, while you take on all kinds of weird enemies, alongside a great horror soundtrack that maybe won't be for everyone, but it does give a sense of dread. Cauldron 2 The Pumpkin Strikes Back is in 14th position. This is a proper love-hate game for people, and that's mostly down to the fact that it's one of the hardest games on the C64. But stick with it and have patience, and it's a great way to kill some time, even if it does make you furious. In 13th place we have Ghouls''n'Ghosts. This was the sequel to Ghosts and Goblins, which was also good on the system. It ended up being a really good part of the arcade with the obvious graphical differences, but the gameplay is really good and the music is awesome. 12th place is taken by Castles of Terror. This is an absolute classic graphical adventure game. While the genre isn't one of my favourites, this game captured my attention as a kid with a great horror soundtrack and some nice scene graphics. Forbidden Forest is in 11th position, the original and the best of the two games on this list. Even though it's the oldest game on the list and looks dated, it still plays as good as it did back in 1983, and you get a real feel of franticness from the whole game. In 10th place is Uninvited. This is a brilliant point and click adventure puzzle game which has some really nice graphics for the year. I think it would have benefited from some spooky music though, as sometimes it feels a bit empty. Apart from that though, it's a great game if you like point and clicks. Ninth place is taken by Ghouls'n'Ghosts. This was released a few years back and at first I was expecting a Ghosts and Goblins rip-off, but no, what we got was a super addictive, awesome sounding single screen platform shooter where the object is to clear the screen of all manners of ghosts and ghouls. The Castles of Dr. Creep is in 8th position. Okay, let's start by saying that one of the hardest things in this game is actually starting the damn thing. At first you always end up in tutorial mode, but once figured out, this is one of my new favourite puzzle games on the system. You have to do some proper forward thinking to avoid mummies and Frankensteins. In 7th place is Mad Doctor. This is one of them games that people will be watching this video and thinking, what the hell is this crap? But I tell you, go play it, as it's definitely all in the gameplay, as you play the Mad Doctor stealing bodies from graves and such for scientific experiments. Sixth place is taken by Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, the first of a game starring the lovely Cassandra Peterson as Elvira. Even if you weren't a fan of the genre, you just had to buy this game for her alone. And it wasn't all just about the cover either, like some games. This game actually delivered some of the creepiest atmospheric gameplay on the system. Elvira 2 The Jaws of Cerberus takes 5th position, the follow-up to the previous game and the best, but just. It has the same spooky feel that the original had, with some lovely graphics. If you like point and click roleplay games, it doesn't get much better than this on the C64. In 4th place is Ghosts and Goblins Arcade. This is a remake of the already good Ghosts and Goblins, and boy did they get this one right. It has turned out to be one of the best arcade ports on the system, and by far the best 8-bit version of the game. Third place is taken by Shadow over Hawksmill. This is the newest game on the list, being released this year, and it's also by far the best presented. The story is that everyone in the village has gone missing, mysteriously, and you are left to investigate. It's a super slick looking adventure platform game that carries the horror genre perfectly. Project Firestart is in second place. This game somehow passed me by as a kid. I can only think that was because it was around the time I moved to Amiga, but after getting back into C64 I checked it out and it's an absolute classic, and one of those games that still plays and looks great today as you search around your stricken ship which has been overrun with aliens. And now, in first place is Maniac Mansion. LucasArts really knew how to make a point-and-click adventure game, and they knocked it out of the park with Maniac Mansion. It's everything that you could want from a horror game, and is one that is high up on people's lists of best game on the system, never mind best horror game. Okay, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments below what your favourite horror games were on the C64, and if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more great retro content. Till next time, this is OSG, signing out.